is all the product of Fed policies that are designed to strip equity from the American people and turn us into a kind of feudal model or a colonial model. And what we need to do, I'm not going to say I'm going to abolish the Fed. I think the Fed was created for an important purpose, which it could still serve, which is to pump liquidity into solvent banks during economic crises, to try to ease economic crisis, and I think that's legitimate. It was also created, but for a lot of bad reasons, which have become the dominant reasons. And I think, generally speaking, what we need to do is to restore sovereignty over the Fed, which we don't have. That's now owned by Wall Street and the big banks and the BlackRock and State Street and Vanguard. And we need to restore transparency. One of the things that I would do is to shift power away from the Fed to the regional banks and to the discount windows. But I would remove the political function of the Fed and make it actually do what it was supposed to do, which is to avert crises when by putting liquidity into solvent institutions. I mean, what happened during 2008 was just this giant shift in equity from the American middle class upward, and what we have left of the American middle class was ruined by COVID, by the COVID lockdowns. And these are policies, I want to restore the American middle class, small businesses, economic independence, the American people, and the soundness of our money supply, and ultimately reintegrate base currency into the process through a gradual process. My uncle tried to do that with the gold certificates and the silver certificates, which he issued right before he was killed. But I think we need to start thinking about mechanics for integrating, at least into our deficit, some kind of base currency discipline.
Okay, and what about the other federal agencies? You started out talking about weaponization of different regulatory agencies, and clearly this community has had a battle with the SEC. There's a lot of talk these days about executive overreach in that regard. What actual steps would you take to curtail that?
Well, each of the agencies is different.